Welcome, everyone, to another deep dive. Today, we're taking a really uplifting look at something quite special, how feeling good, how actual joy can connect with learning a language. Our goal, as always, is to dig into our sources and pull out those key insights, those aha moments for you. And today, we're zeroing in on a really fascinating source called Amina's Happiness, Learning English Through Joy. We want to understand how this simple but really effective approach changed things for a young girl learning English and what that might mean for any of us trying to learn better.
Yeah, it's a great source because it really shines a light on something we often forget about learning. That is the emotional side of it. So often we treat language learning like it's just about grammar books and word lists, almost a chore. But this story, Amina's story, it suggests a different way. A way we're learning English through things that actually make you happy. It isn't just a nice idea, it's, a smart strategy. It really highlights how practical this can be for anyone. Maybe the path to speaking fluently is actually paved with, smiles and good feelings, turning a tough task into something genuinely rewarding.
Okay, let's really get into Amina's journey then, because it tells us so much. So Amina, she's 13, living in Jordan. And like a lot of kids, her joys are pretty simple, everyday things. She loves her cat, she enjoys working in her garden, watching cartoons, just those small things that, make your day feel lighter. But then something happened. Her teacher asked a question, seemed simple enough. What makes you happy? And Amina really wanted to answer, to share those feelings, but she realized she just didn't have the English words, only a few. That feeling of wanting to share, but hitting that language wall.
Exactly. And that's a feeling so many learners know well. But here's where Amina did something quite clever, almost intuitively. Instead of getting stuck or discouraged, she came up with her own solution. She started making what she called a happy list in English. Just think about that. She's deliberately linking these new words to her own positive experiences, writing them down. Things like sunshine, flowers, chocolate, music, hugs, nice people. It's very personal.
Really concrete things. Totally. And the important thing here is she wasn't just passively getting words from a book. She was actively creating her own learning material. So each word wasn't just, a word. It was tied immediately to a good feeling, a real memory. This simple act changed everything. She went from just receiving language to actively using it, making it personal, making it joyful, and, making it stick.
That active creation part sounds key. So, thinking about the brain science or psychology, what's happening there? Why does linking happiness to words work so well? That's a really great question. It gets to the heart of how we learn languages effectively. There's this idea, sometimes called the affective filter. Basically, when we feel stressed or anxious or even just bored, it's like a mental shield goes up. And that shield makes it harder for new information, like language, to get in and be processed properly. Our brains are just less receptive. But Amina, by focusing on her happy list, by consciously linking English to things she loved, she essentially lowered that shield. She lowered her own affective filter. She wasn't worried about mistakes. She was just enjoying the process, feeling good. And that made her brain much more open to learning. The positive feelings kind of bypass the usual learning anxiety. And if you step back, you can see how even simple phrases she might have used, like today, I feel good, I will smile, become more than just practice sentences. They become these little reinforcements, a positive feedback loop. Every time she said something like that, she wasn't just practicing English, she was also kind of, boosting her own mood, which creates this natural internal drive to keep going. It's not just learning about happiness, it's experiencing it through the language. That's a big difference.
Right.
So when she started saying things like, I had fun at the park, or I played with my cousin, these weren't just dry sentences. They were packed with the actual positive feelings, the memories of those good times. That makes the language incredibly sticky, as you said earlier, makes it meaningful. It connects abstract words to real life.
That emotional stickiness, that makes so much sense. And it seems she didn't just stop with the list. She started using YouTube.
That's right. And again, it wasn't just random watching. She was actively looking for specific words related to this positive theme she'd started. Words like grateful, smile, joy.
So what does that tell us? That she was guiding her own learning.
Exactly. It shows this amazing self-directed, interest-driven learning. She wasn't just waiting for a teacher to give her a word list. She was driven by her own curiosity, her own desire to express her feelings, her happiness. That kind of internal motivation is incredibly powerful. It makes learning feel relevant, engaging. It's the difference between being told, learn this, and feeling, I want to say this. That desire pulls you forward. It stops feeling like work and starts feeling like, well, just expressing yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you put it all together, you see this dual impact. Her English definitely improved because she was practicing motivated practice. But maybe just as importantly, she actually felt better. The learning and the well-being weren't separate things. They were boosting each other. Her better English let her express her happiness more clearly, and focusing on happiness made learning English more enjoyable and effective.
It's a virtuous cycle. Precisely.
Yeah.
And you see it in how her language evolved. She started saying things reflecting her current joys. I love fresh air. My cat makes me laugh. I enjoy drawing. These are direct expressions of her contentment in English. And that realization she had, English is not just for school. I use it for happy things. That shift in perspective is huge. It turned English from this, academic task into a real personal tool for joy and connection. That's what fuels long-term learning and real fluency. For you listening, maybe it's starting your study time by just thinking or saying aloud 3 things you're grateful for in English, or using English to set a positive intention for the day. It's about actively building those positive language habits.
Okay, so let's dig into the language itself now. How Amina actually built that vocabulary around happiness. Linguistically, what's something really important for sounding, natural and fluent? And how does Amina's approach help us see that?
Well, one really crucial thing, which Amina seems to have picked up almost naturally, is using collocations. Collocations are just words that like to hang out together. They form these common pairs or groups that native speakers use all the time without thinking. Like we say, take a photo, not use to make a photo, or make a mistake, not do a mistake. They just sound right together.
Right, word partners.
Exactly, word partners.
Yeah.
And they're vital for fluency because native speakers use these chunks. We don't piece together every single word individually. Learning these chunks, like feel happy instead of just happy, helps your speech flow much more smoothly. It reduces the mental effort, The words just come out together naturally. It's a big step beyond just knowing single words.
That makes a lot of sense. And the source actually gives a great list of these collocations for happiness that Amina likely learned through her joyful practice. These really are the building blocks. Let's look at some. Feel happy, smile at people, enjoy music, love my family, watch cartoons, go for a walk, have fun, laugh with friends.
All really common positive actions.
Totally. Eat ice cream, spend time outside, listen to birds, draw pictures, think good thoughts, write a happy list, like she did, and say thank you. Each one is like a little package of meaning. You learn enjoy music as a unit, not just the word music. You can almost feel the positive vibe from these phrases, and for you listening, maybe think how you'd use one of these about your own life, like I enjoy music when I'm cooking, or I have fun playing games with my kids.
Exactly. And what's great about these specific ones is how they form the backbone of everyday chat about feelings and experiences. They're the basic framework. When you learn go for a walk as one chunk, you get the meaning and the natural rhythm of how people actually talk. It builds confidence. And moving on from those chunks, let's touch on the individual new words the source highlights. These are foundational, but they become much more memorable when learned in these positive contexts. Think about words like smile, that happy face. It communicates so much. Laugh, that happy sound. Fun things you enjoy. Walk, just moving your feet often feels good.
Simple, powerful words.
Very. Music, sounds, songs, emotion, hug, holding someone, connection, happy, the core feeling, sunshine, light, warmth, joy, that really strong, happy feeling, and thankful, feeling gratitude. Notice how clear and direct the definitions are, linking straight to a positive idea or action. They're not just words to memorize, they're invitations to express something good. Mastering these gives you a solid base for talking about your own well-being.
Okay, so collocations, core vocabulary. That brings us to another area that can be tricky for learners. phrasal verbs. I know these cause headaches for a lot of people listening. A verb plus a little word like up or out, and suddenly the meaning changes completely, like look versus look up. But the good thing here is that Amina learned them naturally in these happy contexts, which must have helped them stick. The source gives us a few really useful examples showing how they work. First, cheer up, meaning to feel happier or make someone else feel happier, like I cheer up when I walk, you do it yourself. Or music cheers me up, something external does it.
Good distinction. Internal versus external trigger?
Exactly. Then hang out, just spending time casually. I hang out with my sister, or we hang out at the park. Very relaxed, informal. Directing your eyes, look at the sky. Simple. Or she looked at flowers, implies enjoyment perhaps. Talk about, discussing something. I talk about happy things, very relevant here. Or we talked about the day, just normal conversation. And wake up, stopping sleeping. I wake up smiling, linking straight to that positive feeling in it, or just he wakes up early. These examples really show the nuance, right? Cheer up feels different from just comfort. Hang out is way more casual than socialize. It captures that informal vibe.
Absolutely. And this really underscores how powerful learning in context is. Amina wasn't sitting there memorizing lists of phrasal verbs like you often do in class. She was absorbing them through activities and feelings she actually experienced and enjoyed. That context makes them stick. When you say, I hang out with my sister, you're recalling the feeling, the fun, not just the grammar rule. That emotional tag makes it much easier to remember and use correctly. And these specific ones, cheer up, hang out, look at, talk about, wake up. They are so common in everyday, informal English. You use them all the time when talking about feelings, daily routines, social stuff, much more than their more formal synonyms. Using them correctly makes your English sound much more natural, more fluent. It's a big step, especially for sharing those happy things. Amina picking these up through positive association just shows how well her method worked. The brain learns best when it's engaged and, well, happy.
Okay, so even with a really positive approach like Amina's, learning a language still means, bumping into common mistakes. It's just part of the journey, right? So let's look at the common mistakes to avoid section in our source. Think of it as a helpful guide to fine-tuning your accuracy. And it's really important to remember, seeing these common errors isn't about failure. It's actually a sign of progress. It means you're engaging with the language, noticing things, and getting closer to mastering it.
Exactly. Spotting these patterns is how you build a stronger foundation. It's not just about knowing words, but knowing how to put them together correctly according to English grammar. So let's walk through these common mistakes. We'll look at why they're wrong and what the actual rule or principle is. This helps to build that deeper understanding. First up, a really common one. I happy today. I am happy today. The missing piece here is the verb to be. In English, if you're using an adjective like happy to describe someone or something, their state, their feel, you almost always need a form of to be, am, is, are, was, were. Happy describes I, but it's not an action. You need that little linking verb am to connect the subject I to the description happy. Think of am as the bridge. I am tired, she is smart, they are ready. It's fundamental.
Right, that little word makes all the difference. Okay, what's next?
Next, something that often catches learners. She smiles every day. She smiles every day. This is all about subject-verb agreement in the simple present tense. It's a core rule in English. When the subject is third-person singular, meaning he, she, it, or a singular noun like Amina or the cat, you usually add an S to the end of the verb in the present tense. So it's I smile, you smile, we smile, they smile, but he smiles, she smiles, it smiles. That little S is crucial for accuracy. He walks, the sun shines.
That third-person S. Got it. Another one.
Yeah, but here's one about tenses. I feeling joy. I feel joy. This helps us see the difference between the simple present feel and the present continuous am feeling. We use the present continuous for something happening right now, I'm feeling cold, or a temporary state. But for general statements about feelings, habits, or things that are generally true, we use the simple present. I feel joy suggests joy is a general state for you, or how you typically feel about something. It's the more natural way to express that ongoing or general emotion, like, I feel happy when it's sunny.
Okay, simple present for general feelings makes sense. What about this one? He laughs loud. He laughs loudly.
Ah, adjectives versus adverbs, a classic. Loud is an adjective. Adjectives describe nouns, a loud noise. But here, we want to describe how he laughs. Laughing is the verb, the action. To describe a verb, we need an adverb. And in English, adverbs often end in "sluckly." So he doesn't laugh loud, he laughs loudly. It tells us the manner of the laughing, like she runs quickly, adverb, versus she's a quick runner, adjective. It's about what word you're describing.
Okay, describing the action needs the lael often. Good tip. How about this? I go walk. I go for a walk.
This one is more about learning a fixed phrase, an idiom. For certain activities, especially things like walking, running, swimming, driving, English uses the pattern go for a lay. So it's go for a walk, go for a run, go for a swim. It's just the natural, common way to say it. Learning these set phrases makes you sound much more native-like.
So it's just learning the common pattern there. And the last one, we hang in park. We hang out in the park.
This one actually brings together 2 points we've talked about. First, the phrasal verb. The correct phrasal verb for spending time casually is hang out. Just hang means something different, like hanging a picture. Second, the preposition for location. When you're inside a defined area like a park, you use in. So putting it together, we hang out in the park. It uses the right phrasal verb and the right preposition. Shows how these little words work together.
Okay, so hang out and in the park.
Exactly. And what's really useful about looking at these mistakes is realizing they often highlight key differences between English and other languages. Understanding why it's a mistake, the rule behind it, helps you build a much stronger internal grammar. It's not just about memorizing corrections, it's about understanding how English works. That understanding helps you form countless other correct sentences yourself.
Right. So we've looked at the building blocks, the potential pitfalls. What about actually using English in real life? How do everyday chats and even cultural habits tie back into this joyful learning approach? The source gives us this great little mini dialogue. It's a perfect example of simple, natural conversation. Listen to this.
I love drawing.
That's great. It makes you happy.
Yes, I draw flowers and birds.
I feel happy when I sing.
It's so simple, right? But that's the beauty of it. Exchanges like this, focused on things that bring joy, drawing, singing, they build confidence, they build fluency in a really low-pressure way. You're not worried about complex grammar, you're just sharing something positive, connecting with someone. That's communication at its core. These little chats are like mini practice sessions that feel good.
Absolutely, and it raises that question again. How does sharing something personal, like loving drawing or singing, make the language stick? When you use English to talk about something real and positive for you, it creates a much stronger memory trace than just learning a word out of context. You're connecting the language to feelings, images, maybe even sounds or smells associated with that activity. It becomes part of your lived experience, not just abstract knowledge. And the quick quiz in the source plays a role here too, even though it seems simple. Questions like, what means hold someone with love? Answer, hug. Or what is a happy face? Answer, smile. These quick checks reinforce the vocabulary right away within that positive theme. It gives you that immediate feedback, yes, I got it, which builds confidence. It's a gentle way to make sure the new words are sinking in without the stress of a big test.
Like little reinforcement loops. Now let's widen the lens a bit with a cultural insight. It mentions gratitude journals. In many countries, people keep gratitude journals to write what makes them happy each day. This is a pretty well-known practice, right?
Very well known, yes. And widely studied for its benefits.
And what's cool is how it connects straight back to Amina's original happy list. Basically, her list was her own informal gratitude journal. She was already doing it, maybe without even calling it that, just naturally noting down her joys.
It's a fantastic connection. Because those gratitude practices, keeping journals, they are proven ways to boost well-being, reduce stress, shift your focus to the positive. Now think about doing that in English. You're getting consistent, low-stress writing practice. You're naturally expanding your vocabulary around positive things, feelings, events, descriptions, and crucially, you keep reinforcing that positive link between the English language and good feelings. You're using English as a tool for mindfulness and well-being. It's this amazing synergy, improving your mental state and improving your English at the same time. Each one helps the other, which leads perfectly into the challenge task the source suggests. Write 3 things that make you happy using simple English. That's such a practical takeaway for anyone listening. Try it. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just apply the idea directly to your own life, your own happiness. It's about active engagement, not just passive listening. And even the word pop-up feature focusing on one word like smile, giving the definition, move your face to show you were happy. And an example, she smiled at me, that reinforces the learning too. It isolates one key concept, makes it crystal clear, and shows you exactly how to use it in a positive context. These focus moments, especially within this overall joyful framework, really help things click. Imagine if every word felt connected to a good memory. Hashtag outro.
So as we wrap up this look at Amina's story and this idea of joyful English, what's the main thing that sticks out to you? For me, it really is that powerful connection, the synergy between learning the language and actually cultivating happiness. It's such a great reminder that English isn't just a school subject. It's a tool, a real tool, for expressing and even boosting the good stuff in life. It changes learning from a chore into something, well, enriching.
I completely agree. And building on that thought, happiness is simple. Speak English about the good things and feel better every day. Maybe here's something for our listeners to mull over. What if we consciously looked for more joy in our daily lives and then made a real effort to talk about that joy, those moments of gratitude in English or whatever language we're learning? How might that fundamentally shift how we feel about learning and even about the language itself? Imagine connecting every new word not just to a definition, but to a positive feeling, a happy memory. So the encouragement is really for you, the listener, to find ways to weave your own happiness, your own gratitude into your language practice. Maybe your next lesson isn't a grammar exercise, but just describing a beautiful sunset in English or telling someone about something funny your pet did.
That's a wonderful thought to end on. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into Amina's happiness, learning English through joy. We really hope it gives you some fresh ideas and maybe inspires you to bring a bit more joy into your own learning adventures. Wishing you all the best with both your language goals and finding happiness every day. Goodbye for now.